Welcome to Young Lives Lost, Gone But Not Forgotten, a series focused on young lives cut tragically short. In America, a child is shot every hour and hundreds die. These are their stories. Death of bullied Utah girl draws anger over suicide and racism. This is the story of 10-year-old Isabella Faith Tichenor, affectionately known as Izzy. When her 10-year-old daughter tried spraying air freshener on herself before school one morning, Brittany Tichenor Cox suspected something was wrong with the sweet little girl whose beaming smile had gone dormant after she started the 5th grade. She coaxed out of Isabella Izzy Tichenor that a boy in her class told her she stank after the teacher instructed the class that they needed to shower. It was the latest in a series of bullying episodes that targeted Izzy, who was autistic and the only black student in the class. Other incidents included harassment about her skin color, eyebrows, and a beauty mark on her forehead, her mother said. Tichenor Cox informed the teacher, the school, and the district about the bullying. She said nothing was done to improve the situation. Then on November the 6th, at their home near Salt Lake City, Izzy died by suicide. Her shocking death triggered an outpouring of anger about youth suicides, racism in the classroom, and the treatment of children with autism, issues that have been highlighted by the nation's racial reckoning and a renewed emphasis on student mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Utah, the suicide also intensified questions about the Davis School District, which was recently reprimanded by the Justice Department for failing to address widespread racial discrimination. The district, where the Black and Asian American students account for roughly 1% of the approximately 73,000 students, initially defended its handling of the bullying allegations, but later launched an outside investigation that is ongoing. When I was crying out for help, for somebody to do something, nobody even showed up for her, Tichenor Cox said this week in an interview with the Associated Press. It just hurts to know that my baby was bullied all day throughout school, from the time I dropped her off to the time I picked her up. Being autistic made it difficult for Izzy to find words to express what she was feeling, but her mother sensed her daughter was internalizing the messages from school. She asked her mother to get rid of the beauty mark and shave her unibrow. Her mother told her those features made her different and beautiful. She told her mother her teacher didn't like her and wouldn't say hi or help with schoolwork. Izzy's mother, 31, blames the teacher for allowing the bullying to happen. Prior to this year, she said, Izzy and 2 of her other children liked the school. Tichenor Cox has also called out deep-rooted racism in the predominantly white state of Utah, where she said the N-word that kids called her when she was a child in the 1990s is still heard in her children 3 decades later. But she doesn't want fury to be her only message. She vows to make Izzy's life matter by speaking out about bullying, racism, and the importance of understanding autism so that no other parent had to suffer like she is. She looked at a picture on her cell phone of Izzy smiling with fresh braids in her hair last May. Tichenor Cox teared up as she realized that was her last birthday with her dear daughter who dreamed of being a professional dancer. No parent should have to bury their 10-year-old, she said. I'm still in shock. This pushes me to get out there like this. Mommy is pushing to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else. Davis School District spokesman Christopher Williams did not answer questions about the investigation, the employment status of Izzy's teacher, or about any direct accusations. He instead referred back to November 12th, a statement in which the district pledged to do an outside investigation to review its handling of critical issues such as bullying to provide a safe and welcoming environment for all.
A Utah mother says her 10-year-old daughter took her own life over the weekend after being bullied at school. She says she reported the bullying to the school, but claims nothing was done to protect her daughter.
Fox 13's Emily Tenser is live at Foxborough Elementary in North Salt Lake tonight with the mother's message to other parents and the district's response. Emily.
10-year-old Izzy Tichenor was a student here at Foxborough Elementary. Her mom tells me they were getting excited because they were only 1 year away from middle school. Now, Izzy had autism spectrum disorder, and her mom said that made her an easy target for bullying.
Even though she came in my life for a decade, she was my guardian angel and is my guardian angel.
Brady Tichenor remembers her 10-year-old daughter as a beautiful young girl, a light that shined on everyone she met.
She was amazing. Even when people were mean to her, she would still help them.
Izzy Tichenor was on the autism spectrum and had dyslexia. Her mother says other children recognized her differences and frequently bullied her.
She really didn't say what she wanted to be, but I knew I know she told me, "Mommy, I want to be more than this." And now I think I understand what she meant. More than this is more than her disability.
Now Tichenor is grieving the loss of Izzy, who died by suicide on Saturday.
You really wouldn't have known that she was going through that. So that was the hardest part. Like, she must have really internalized this.
In a statement sent to Fox 13 News, the Davis School District says it's devastated by Izzy's death, saying, quote, "At this point, the incident we are aware of involved another student, and the teacher and administration responded quickly and appropriately. As with all allegations of bullying, our investigation will continue." Tichenor says her focus isn't on the investigation, it's about getting the message out to parents to talk to your kids, preach anti-bullying, and check in on them daily to make sure they're doing okay.
I just want to spread Izzy's love to other kids. I want to spread what Izzy had, her infectious love, her infectious laugh, to the other kids. I want to spread the good things about her.
Friends and family are posting the hashtag Stand for Izzy to demand justice. There's a vigil scheduled tomorrow night at the Foxborough Hollow Park at 7 p.m. There's also a GoFundMe set up to help the family with funeral expenses. You can find the link to that at fox13now.com. Reporting live, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
So difficult. Fox 13 News does not typically report on suicides, but we are in this case because of the possible connections to bullying along with mental health.
Today we spoke to experts on autism spectrum disorder at the Melissa Nelson Center for Autism at Utah Valley University. They say about 80% of those on the spectrum will describe having suicidal thoughts. Attempts are up to 8 times more common in those with autism. And it can be difficult to recognize struggles or signs of depression because some expressions of autism can mask mental health issues. That's why she says communication is so important.
So I think the important thing is to always check in, to really keep those lines of communication open and ask about what's going on in school. Ask specifically about whether someone is bullying or being mean in some way.
If you or someone you know is struggling, there is always help. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. It is free and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The Justice Department investigation uncovered hundreds of documents using of the N-word and other racial epithets over the last 5 years in the district. The probe also found physical assaults, derogatory racial comments, and harsher discipline for students of color. Black students throughout the district told investigators about people referring to them as monkeys or apes and saying that their skin was dirty or looked like feces. Students also made mental analysis at their black peers, repeatedly referenced slavery and lynching, and told black students to go pick cotton, you're my slave, according to the department's findings. The district has agreed to take several steps as part of a settlement agreement, including establishing a new department to handle complaints, offering more training, and collecting data. Tichenor Cox told the AP she doesn't trust the district's investigation and said the district has zero credibility. Instead, her attorney, Tyler Aries, hired a private investigator to do their own probe as Tichenor Cox considered possible legal action. She and Aries also said the Justice Department is looking into what happened with Izzy. The agency will not say if it's investigating what happened to Izzy at the school, but said in a statement Wednesday that it is saddened by her death and aware of reports she was harassed because of her race and disability. The department said it is committed to ensuring the district of the school follows through on the plan established in the settlement agreement. Youth suicides in Utah have leveled off in recent years after an alarming spike from 2011 to 2015, but the rate remains sharply higher than the national average. The state's 2020 per capita rate was 8.85 suicides among 10 to 17-year-olds per 100,000, compared with 2.3 suicides per 100,000 nationally in 2019, the latest year with data available. Tributes to Izzy are scattered on social media under Stand for Izzy. The Utah Jazz basketball team honored her at a recent game, and players Donovan Mitchell and Joe Eagles, who has an autistic son, both expressed dismay over what happened, calling it disgusting. Other parents from the school district have sent letters to the school board calling out the district's dismissive action.
Tonight, dozens gathered at a North Salt Lake park to support the family of a young girl who took her own life last weekend.
The family says 10-year-old Izzy Tichenor was on the autism spectrum, and that made her an easy target for bullying.
The campaign with the hashtag I Stand for Izzy is taking off, demanding justice and conversations about mental health and bullying.
Fox 13's Emily Tenser is live at the vigil tonight. Emily.
Tonight's rain didn't stop the amazing turnout tonight here at Fox Hollow Park. As you can see behind me, people are still here. Dozens gathered to show the Tichenor family that they stand for Izzy. Family, friends, and classmates of Izzy huddled together with candles and hot chocolate to show their support. Her family members spoke, as well as local leaders, a family therapist, and some of her school friends. The speakers pleaded with parents to talk to their kids about bullying, about racism, autism, and mental health. Izzy's grandmother, Paula Harris, says Izzy's death is earth-shattering, but says the love and support is what the family needs right now. She says together they can bring awareness to protect other kids.
My daughter was telling me that Izzy, for the last couple of weeks, have just been showing signs of sadness. If any change in your child's behavior, I just ask that you guys take the time, talk to them. They may not want to sit and talk to you, but it's important that we do get the word out and talk to them and let them know that if anything is bothering you, you can tell me. You're not going to get in trouble, but it's to save their life.
I was just never expecting her to do what she did. And nobody deserves to feel that way. Nobody deserves to feel worthless or like they don't belong.
The Davis School District sent Fox 13 News an updated statement saying the school provided significant resources of support for the family, saying, quote, "We take all reports of bullying and harassment seriously and will continue to investigate any reports we receive. Out of respect to the privacy of the family and obligations we have professionally to uphold that privacy, we cannot share further details." Governor Spencer Cox tweeted today that "My heart is broken for Izzy and her family. We must and will do more." Izzy's celebration of life is scheduled for this Saturday. Reporting live, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Emily, thanks so much. Child mental health experts with the Huntsman Mental Health Institute say suicides among the young continues to increase significantly each year.
Dr. Kristen Francis says the CDC lists suicide as the second cause of death for children ages 10 to 14 years old. She says children on the spectrum are more likely to have more mental health struggles than their peers. Dr. Francis advises parents to watch for changes in their child's behavior, such as not eating or sleeping, losing interest in activities, isolation, or expressing sadness or thoughts of suicide.
We used to think that talking about suicide could make suicide happen, and we know that that's not true. In fact, talking about suicide can reduce suicide. So for the most part, it's never too early to talk to your children about suicide if they ask. So if a child is asking, give them information. In general, if they're not asking, we recommend around age 8 and above that it's okay to start kind of bringing things up.
Dr. Francis there says once kids are around 10 to 13 years old, you can be more specific with discussions about suicide. For help, you can always call the Utah Crisis Line. Their number toll-free 1-800-273-8255. Help is available on that line any day at any hour.
Tichenor Cox and her husband Charles Cox have 5 other children to focus on, so they're doing all they can to handle the grief while trying to remember the sparkle Izzy brought to their lives for a decade. I want her to be remembered of how kind she was, how beautiful she was, how brilliant she was, and intelligent she was, Tichenor Cox said, because if I keep thinking of what happened, it's just going to put me back, and I'm trying to be strong for her. Rest in peace, Isabella Izzy Tichenor. Gone but not forgotten.